And it should say we are live, and we're live.
Yay!
And if you don't know what today is, it is the first day of summer, winter
Welcome,
solstice.
welcome, welcome. It is
I
summer
mean, did I just say
solstice.
winter
How
solstice? I
you
sure
did.
did,
You're
didn't
trying to
I?
bring, girl, stop that.
Summer
It's,
solstice. Summer,
it is
summer,
all
summer.
about the sun, my people. It is all about the beautiful sun. And that's what we are worshiping today. We are
It's all
worshiping
about
summer
the sun.
solstice. It
And
is
this
all about the beautiful sun energy and bringing sun into
sunstone.
your life. You know, this is the growth of the sun and the plants that grow now. It's all about the sun. I mean, we bought crystals, we bought everything, but I have the most important. It is the light, because
Yes,
summer solstice is all about the light. These are where your days get longer and the
mine isn't lit, but
nights get less, you know. Remember, you're out there at 9 o'clock in your night and you're boogieing and you're like, wait, it's still sunny outside. Why? Because it's summertime, baby. Summer
these are.
solstice. That's what this is all about.
I have
So,
a
yes,
few candles that I haven't lit yet, but they will get lit. They will get lit.
yes.
So we're
These
going
are
to
for
talk
us.
about oh,
The,
Shannon's here. Welcome, Shannon. Thanks for popping in. Yes, so it is summer solstice. So forgive my little, little boo-boo at the beginning. So it is summer solstice, which we
you're just
celebrate in
white.
the northern hemisphere,
That's
June
right.
21st. This is just for the northern hemisphere because the summer hemisphere is currently going
Is
into
going into winter.
they're
Yes.
going into winter, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
is
we're
going.
going into
So they're
summer.
actually getting, you're calling in Corinne's season. So, Corinne, welcome to your winter solstice love. We love you too on all we're all around the world,
Hi,
baby. It's
Heather.
just not one side.
So summer solstice is also called Litha. It's also called Midsummer. And one of my favorite books is or plays, I should say, is Midsummer Night's Dream by Shakespeare. Um, and it is officially the first day of summer. Although if you live in anywhere tropical, it's been summer for a while. Summer
It's summer
feels.
24/7.
Um, in Egypt, right now, this is actually the beginning of the flooding of the Nile. So the crops are going to be um, getting fed all of the nutrients that they really need. So that is typically associated with summer solstice in Egypt. The ancient Mayans, they've built a lot of their sacred sites to align with the sun, um, and align with the solstices, so winter and summer solstice, as well as the equinoxes. Um, and then the Druids in England, of course, we all know Stonehenge, right? We all know about Stonehenge. And if you were up at a really early on the east coast of Florida, then you could have caught the sunrise at Stonehenge this morning, because there are lots of people that gather around there
Which I did.
on
Thank you very much. Yes,
yes
it's very
on
important to me. So I was up with that, because
yes
this is one of the seasons that you do want to acknowledge. This is a major solstice. This is a change in your clock, in your wheel
yes
of life. This is the turning of the wheel, guys, and we are turning now for us into the light, into the sun, into the
mhm,
summertime. Okay? So what does solstice mean? Solstice means standing of the sun. So where are you standing in the sun? Where are you going to shine your light bright from here for the rest of the year? Where are you going to put yourself out there? And before we get to the next solstice, and then the sun goes down and we're back in darkness, where are you going to shine bright, guys? That is the question of the summer solstice for you. Where are you going to put yourself out there? Where are you going to celebrate each other and celebrate the light? I see the light in Gina, and Gina sees the light in me. And where do you celebrate this? Where's your generosity? Where's your love? Where's your goodwill towards men? This is where you break bread together outside. This is where you partake together. This is all about the season of love for each other. So this is a really important season to acknowledge. And you see, Gina and I had flowers and we did ourselves up and the light
yeah.
to be ready for this amazing day.
Yeah, absolutely. So the blend that we're going to be talking about today is actually really simple, and we've spoken about all of the ingredients already. So we're not going to go into a huge amount of detail. We're going to simply tag a bunch of videos so you can go back and kind of listen in more detail. Um, because again, it's summer solstice. We don't want to be taking up a bunch of your time, right? We want you to be outside enjoying this day, right? This is the longest day of the year. Go out and have some fun. So the ingredients in here are orange peel, calendula, St. John's wort, and rosemary. And we're going to just talk a little bit about the benefits and more about the magical side of these and why these particular ingredients are in this blend, right? Why
Gina,
these
before
particular
you start, can you
hmm
pull up the tea? I want to show them the tea for a
Yeah.
moment. Look at this amazing tea that she made for you. And I want you to know the ingredients that you see in her tea that you can drink are also in these candles. So see, this is candle magic right here. This is your blessing to solstice with candles. So I want you to see how she has them in the blend and you can drink them. And say you have not to blend or you want to give extra love, you can actually put those same herbs on these candles and create the same thing. And this is a
Absolutely.
beautiful, beautiful way. So I want you to know whatever she's talking about when it comes to the herbs are burning on these candles. And not only do you feel it, but as it burns down, you smell it, you
hmm
engage in it, and it becomes part of you too. So this is good healing as well.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's one of the things I was going to talk about because I did start dressing this candle. There's a crystal chip in here already, and then I was going to top it off with some of the herbs from with this particular blend on top of that candle. So there's a lot of different ways that you can work with that with the herbs. So thank you for mentioning that, MJ. You're ahead of me. All right, so orange peel. Orange peel is the first ingredient. We all know about oranges, really good for colds and that sort of thing, right? Because it's loaded with vitamin C. We know that. But if you take an orange, just an uncut orange and hold it up, it just looks like a sun. That's when I look at it, it's like the epitome of the sun. A bright orange is shining bright. Heather says, I want to shine my light bright by not being defeated.
Yes.
Oh, and I should
So
probably mention yesterday, or was it last night, I ended up getting what we refer to as a spiritual chancla. I got one from MJ last night, and I got another one just now. All in love, of course, of course, of course. So
it's always with
this
love.
is
It's always to move you out of. I just want to say that she said that. So spiritual chancla is when MJ gives you words from spirit that move you out of your comfort zone. It's uncomfortable but necessary because you need to move. And sometimes we get stuck in places that we shouldn't. And until we somebody says, "Hey, it's time to move," we don't know. And that is what a spiritual chancla is, guys. So
yes, yes. All right, so orange peel, wide range of uses. And if you have not been saving, if you love oranges but you just peel, the skin off and then you dump it and then you eat the insides, you are throwing away what's considered to be like the best part. There's so much nutrition in the skin itself on the oranges. So from here on out, if you have been throwing your orange peels away, don't save it because there's so many different ways you can use it. You can bake with it. You can actually grate it up or blend it up, to a powder. Bake with it. You can put it into soups. You can put it in salads. You can use it to make potpourri. If you put it on the stove top with some water, sprinkle some cinnamon, some clove, and let it simmer. Oh my gosh, your entire house just smells amazing. Really does. So if you save it only for potpourri, then you're doing yourself a good thing. So orange peel has been used for medicine for thousands, a long time, many, many years, to treat coughs, to treat colds, even for people with asthma. It actually helps the upper respiratory infections, help to clear the mucus from your lungs. Um, because it's loaded with vitamin C, it's going to boost your immunity because there's a very high vitamin C content. However, the orange peel itself has 3 times the vitamin C content than the interior of the fruit itself. So if you peel the orange peel and threw that away and then just ate the orange, you actually threw out 3 times as much vitamin C as you did consuming that orange. So you want to save your orange peel to use that to make your, use it in different ways so you're not bored with it, but don't throw it out when you're eating an orange,
Save it for
because
the
it boosts
magic.
highly.
Save it for the magic.
So good. 3 times. I mean, 3 times the vitamin C in the peel alone than the actual fruit, than the rest of the fruit. Does support healthy skin. Vitamin C helps to sustain the collagen in your skin. And we know that the collagen, is going to prevent those things we don't
Wrinkles.
want from showing up, right?
We don't
So,
talk about
yes, we don't talk about
that.
it does boost your mood. And this is something you're going to hear with a lot of the other ingredients, that it boosts your mood. And the sun, when you get out in the sunshine, you can't be depressed when you're walking around in sunshine. You just can't, right? And you're going to see that with a lot with these herbs that are in this blend, that they do help to elevate your mood, to boost your mood, kind of, bring a little bit of sunshine to your life, and it literally really does. And they all grow this time of the year, which is why, again, they were made for this particular solstice. So these are all herbs that you would find, or fruits that you'd find growing this time of the year. So orange peel lowers your blood pressure. It is highly anti-inflammatory. It soothes nausea. So, everybody goes to ginger, but the orange peel is just as good as ginger in soothing nausea. It is antibacterial, it is antifungal, and again, that's going to be a common theme with the others. They're antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antifungal, all of these things, right? And if you think about summertime, what do a lot of the kids do during summer? They run up and down outside. I know when I was a little kid, I was playing in the mud, playing in the water, you know,
Outside. Outside.
outside, doing stuff that we're probably, mosquitoes, we're getting bit by mosquitoes, we're just having fun. And
Turn off
we
those
might,
computers. Send those kids outside to get bit by mosquitoes. Yes.
yes,
Enjoy
and you'll
that.
see that a lot of these herbs that are in this tea blend are specifically like anti-inflammatory, anti-parasitic, antiviral, anti this, because they grow this time of the year, because kids are outside, adults are outside, we're having a good time, exposing ourselves to whatever is out there, and the remedies for everything that we might get exposed to is growing right there, right at this time, right? So you'll notice that trend through these different herbs that are in this blend. So it's also anti-allergic. So if you do have issues with allergies this time of the year, orange peel is great for that, because it prevents the release of histamines, which prevent the allergic reaction. You can make it, I know I'm going to hear it again, but I don't like plain water. I just don't. So if you don't like plain water, you can make flavored water by adding your orange peel into it, and you get that vitamin C boost along with it as well. So it also enhances your digestive system. It is vitamin C, which helps to boost your immune system. So it is going to help with the digestive system there as well. Now, I did mention this is summer solstice. So the orange, if you picture, I'm a very visual person. When you picture an unpeeled orange, it's like the sun, right? You hold it up and it's like the sun. So the orange tends to kind of awaken you. It energizes you like the sun does. When you get out into the sun, you get enough vitamin D and your body is working the way it's supposed to. You do feel more energized and more awake, right? So that's the whole idea behind this blend as well. It is supposed to give you that kind of a boost, not just in physical energy, but energy overall, right? Or every particular kind of energy you can imagine, right? It is going to help to attract, and MJ is going to talk a little bit more about this as well. But when you think of the orange and you bite into an orange, you can't be, there's no way that you can be depressed when you bite into an orange. I don't know. When you take a bite into that, it does automatically kind of lift your spirits. So, and there is when I know MJ keeps talking about there's magic in your cup, there is magic in these things. There really is, because it just biting into an orange itself just kind of lifts your spirit automatically. If any of you have ever eaten an orange and stayed depressed, I'd like to know. Really. Feng Shui. In Feng Shui, the orange they actually use the orange essential oil quite a bit in the diffuser because it's said to bring in the yang energy. You know, there's yin and yang. Well, the orange is said to bring in the yang energy, which is considered to be sun energy. So to mention that in the feng shui tradition. And there's lots of different ways that we can work with the orange peel, like I mentioned, and we'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end to give you kind of some options as well. All right, so that is orange peel in a nutshell.
Okay, look at all that greatness you have in that, guys. Time to take a bite, right? Can't be sad with that. So what I got, orange peel for me, let me tell you, in the spiritual world, it's all about the peel. You keep the peel, you put them on the side, you let them dry in the bowl because it's magic. When I tell it's magic, you make oils. Those same grinds that you write off, you put them on, you put them into your candle magic. This is a masculine energy, and like she said, it's all about the sun. Orange is associated with the sun. All right.
Yeah.
It is associated with Aries, Virgo, Libra, and Leo in the zodiac because of the energy that it possesses. Okay. It is love, divination, luck, money. All right. It's the strength for quest. It is when back in the day they would drink it and it would help them, give them strength to continue on their long journeys. Remember when before there were cars, before when people would walk for their journeys and their destinations, that's what they would use is oranges. So orange can be, so and this is the great thing for me, orange is so magical because orange can be used as a pendulum. You take out the seeds from the orange, and as you eat the orange and you count the seeds, if it is an even number, your answer is no. If it's an odd number, your answer is yes. So you just gave yourself from spirit that one orange that you enjoyed gave you the answer you need just by counting the seeds. Okay, in Chinese areas, they consider oranges, and matter of fact, a lot of the orange is a symbol of luck and good fortune and put on many altars. So when you go into Chinese locations or restaurants, you will see their altar, and there's always some oranges with cloves on it, always, without a doubt. That is luck. Now it also attracts love because of the sweetness. They would put it in the waters back in the day to make themselves smelt better. Remember, because once again, you went on that long journey, there was no Dove soap, okay?
Right,
They
I know.
used we got to remember that. So they would use the oranges to get the smell and enhance their smells. So that way it brought in the love. So So you added some into your bath, and it also helped purify and brought the passion back to you. So a nice, beautiful citrine bath with some orange peels and some orange in it or some orange oil is really going to uplift you, so you remember the juices that you have inside you. And for me, orange peel is tiger's eye. Look at that. See the sun, see the reflection of the sun. Oh man, that's what I have for orange peel for you guys.
Yeah, I had a copper sphere that I've been holding on to because I had an orange selenite which I've been working with for the to represent the sun, but I gave it to my niece. She saw it and she said, "Well, can I have it?" Absolutely, take it. So, yeah. All right. Let me just grab something real quick. Be right back. Let's grab that real quickly. All right. So the next ingredient is St. John's wort. And St. John's wort, we were actually talking behind the scenes about this earlier because, this week, Friday is considered to be St. John's Day. And then Thursday evening, around midnight or leading into that, St. John's Eve, where there's a lot of celebration. So St. John's wort is one of those herbs that grows this time of the year. And again, you'll understand why. So St. John's wort it flowers in the summertime, has these really pretty yellow flowers again. It's considered to be antiviral. It is a natural antidepressant and is actually used as an antidepressant replacement for people who've been diagnosed with depression but want a more natural um, alternative than the prescription. St. John's Wort is typically one that's prescribed for them. It does help to treat mood swings as a female. If you're having, during that your cycle, if you tend to have a lot of mood swings, St. John's Wort tends to balance those out. It's a natural anti-anxiety remedy as well. It's a natural painkiller. So it's naturally anti-inflammatory. And a lot of people in the medical field, people who are addicts, whether it's be to drugs or alcohol, typically they would work with whoever their doctor is would work with them with St. John's Wort, because it's considered to be one of those herbs that will help them to overcome whatever it is they're trying to overcome. And typically it's something to do with drugs or with alcohol. So St. John's Wort is very powerful when it comes to stuff like that. It also helps with boosting immunity. And again, because it grows this time of the year and typically we're outside, especially as kids, making mud pies and all that fun stuff, we get bacteria that we don't need to come into contact with. So it does help to boost your immunity. It is also a natural treatment for burns and skin that's damaged. And there's a blend that I don't have it here. It's called Trauma Oil. And the 3 ingredients in there are Calendula, which we'll talk about again today, St. John's Wort, and Arnica. And it's called Trauma. If you look up Trauma Oil, you'll find that those are the 3 ingredients that are in there. It's a very, very powerful for any kind of pain. And it was something that I made many years ago when I was first diagnosed with lupus and with neuropathy and all of the nerve pain that I was experiencing. So St. John's Wort is a very, very powerful anti-inflammatory. It's also if you're dealing with, I'm going to say this now, if you're dealing with lupus, sometimes, I don't know how you can determine whether or not it's going to happen to you, but sometimes you can have what's called photosensitivity when you're taking St. John's Wort. I actually developed it years ago and then it went away. So I don't know how it went away. It just did. So I know that there is a possibility that if you're suffering from any kind of autoimmune condition, that St. John's Wort could make you a little bit more sensitive to the sun. So do double check, okay? And one of the ways that you can determine whether it does or not, I would just if you can just get some St. John's Wort or just make a little bit of the tea, brush it on some part of your body that's hidden, because what it'll do sometimes is darken your skin. So you want to double check to make sure. And you can certainly just leave that out of any, if you're not comfortable with St. John's Wort, working with it in a tea form or even in an oil form, there are ways that, and this is probably for a whole other discussion. There are ways of working with St. John's Wort to get the benefits without having the exposure or the possible photosensitivity develop, right? But that's for a whole other thing, a whole other video. So Trauma Oil, very, very powerful blend, which has St. John's Wort in it, and Calendula, which is another ingredient. Back in the day also, St. John's Wort was used for bedwetting. So for kids, older kids, not so much, we're not talking about 2 years old and 3 years old, because they're still in their, potty training mode typically, right? But for older kids who may be experiencing some bedwetting, this St. John's Wort was typically used for that. I have another caveat. I mentioned with the very young children, they don't typically need to be drinking St. John's wort tea, because if you're potty training, you're potty training. But if you're 6, 7, 8, 9, and older, then that could be an issue. So St. John's wort is good for that. Also, if you are pregnant, you want to be careful with St. John's wort as well. And the reason why St. John's wort is in here, again, summer solstice and St. John's wort tends to grow around this time of the year. However, there's a nickname for St. John's wort, a couple of nicknames actually. It's referred to as being a magician, and it's also referred to as being a thief, because it says that St. John's wort steals the heat from the sun and it holds it into the flowers, and it can hold it into flowers all the way into the wintertime. Right. So this is St. John's wort is an herb that you can work with pretty much all year long, because the benefits, I guess, for lack of a better word, the power of the sun really gets infused into these little yellow petals, and they're just as powerful when you pick them as well as, wintertime, 6 months from now, just as powerful. Right. There's some herbs that tend to kind of lose, when they get dried out, they might lose their potency. But St. John's wort, with that nickname, it's a magician and a thief. That's the reason why it got that nickname. And I mentioned already that in the Christian tradition, St. John's Day, St. John's Eve, St. John's Day is this coming Friday, is the actual day where we celebrate St. John, the day that he was supposed to have been born, I guess.
I don't know. I'm not in. We'll just leave that one to the side. Just leave that one
Yes,
there.
there are
I don't know.
questions.
I don't
So
even
we
want
just
to.
leave.
I don't want to go there.
No. But he is. If you're not familiar with who St. John is the one who baptized Jesus when he was older. So, but he is celebrated on St. John's Day, which is June 24th in the Christian tradition. We just happens to fall in the same week as summer solstice. Shannon said that sounds like a warm blanket. It is. It really is. And when you combine all of the ingredients together, yes, it's a powerful tea. And this is a tea that you can drink pretty much anytime during the day, right? It's not going to affect your sleep. Right.
So let's talk about St. John's wort from the spiritual side. So
yes,
St. John, once again, it's another herb that is part of the sun. Okay, it is power, it is health, it is protection, it is strength, it is love, divination, it is happiness. Okay, and I just want to touch on to what Gina said. Okay, it holds the energy, but the but is it has to be harvested under the sun at a certain time. This is not something that you just pick whenever you feel like and you believe you hold it. If you do not harvest this in midsummer on the exact time frame, you're not harvesting the energy of this one plant, which is amazing. So be very careful when it says that. Remember, because the stealing is, if you take it out of the time frame that you're making it, you're not going to get the same effects as when you harvest it within the midsummer, because that's what this plant is. And even in the magical content, when you harvest this in midsummer, you are reaching its full potential. Now, once again, this plant back in the day and to this day wards off fever and cold. So back in the day when you would have a fever and a cold, once again, they would say, this is the plant that will take and absorb your fever. All right. Now, it makes soldiers invincible. Why? Because it helped them with their aches and their pains and gave them longevity, stability when they were out fighting. It attracts love because it calls in the love for you. All right. Now, once again, it's very important that if gathered midsummer and on a Friday, it keeps mental health at bay. That's how important this plant is. When it is gathered on the certain day at a certain time, it activates the energy. Now, if it's hung by the door, it is protection against lightning. So your home will not be struck by lightning. All right. It keeps ghosts away if it's also hung. It banishes spirits. If it's placed under the pillow of an unmarried woman, she will dream of her husband to be. Okay. So ladies, if you're not married and you want to dream of your man to come, put some in your pillow and set the intention to call him in. Let him see what you look like. Okay. If it's It was held in the mouth back of the day of the so-called witches they claimed that were, so that it would force them to speak their truth. All right. This is a very amazing, amazing. For me, here on the island of Puerto Rico, which is a very religious island, I'm spiritual, but the religion here is on St. John's Day, which is this week, the night before, you will see hundreds of islanders in the water.
Mm-hmm.
They will go in backwards because that is how you honor him on the night before. So I've done to these celebrations here. You go in backwards into the water, and that is St. John's. And that is the energy. And not are you representing St. John's, it is midsummer and it's done on solstice. So add it all together. It's not one, it's
Mm-hmm.
aligned with solstice, the sun, the herb, and then you add in St. John. I want you to understand that because it's everything, it's not one thing. And for me, St. John is this beautiful citrine because it's all in itself. It's
Yeah,
powerful, it's abundance, it's everything
that's
you
gorgeous.
need to heal yourself. So that's what I have for this amazing herb.
That is beautiful. Oh, I was showing the tea during while you were talking. This tea was actually created with the sun's energy. I put the herbs in this morning, filled it up with alkaline water, and I set it outside for about 5 hours and let the
Look how
sun
beautiful. Look
do
at
it for
beautiful. It
me.
looks beautiful. It looks so,
So if
guys, I
you've
want you to
never,
see this is beautiful. Look what Gina's doing. She's showing you that even if all day, take your time. This is I'm gonna stop Gina because she created magic. So you want to be magical? Look what she just did. She took some herbs and some water and put it outside in the sun and let the sun do its job. And look at that right there.
yeah. So you can do this with your tea blends. And
Now,
I
can you
wanted
just
to
tell them
do that.
how long will it last? I want them because if they want to make a big jar like that, explain to them how long will it last, and then after that, after in that jar.
Well, well, I typically put it in the refrigerator if I'm not going to drink all of it. So you want to store it in the refrigerator if you don't drink all of it. But this is not going to last me today. This is
No,
going to
that's
be
good.
done. Yes, this will be done by the end of today. So
I want some. That looks
I
amazing.
specifically made it for today. But if you have tea bags, put the tea bags, do the same thing. You and just use this is summertime, okay? Use the energy of the sun to make your teas. Infuse that energy into your teas,
I'm gonna give
right?
you a tip. Go to the beach and get a sun and put your tea in the jar and just put it out there while you're in the water. And it's
Yeah.
going to do your tea, and then you just add some ice, and you've just with the sun
Okay.
created some iced tea that you can enjoy and refreshing on the beach. Oh my God. So yes, please
Exactly.
do this.
There's a line I like to steal. It says the power of the sun in the palm of my hand. You probably all know where that came from. That's literally what this is. You know, you got that really pretty golden color, and it was infused with the energy from the sun, right?
It's
Okay, so
beautiful.
the next ingredient we've talked about before as well, and it is calendula. And I mentioned that calendula is, let me just grab it from here. The calendula oil is the base for the oils that I use on my skin. So here we have the calendula, and then it's filled with olive oil, and it infuses in there for at least 6 weeks before I utilize it. So calendula, we've talked about again before, so we'll just tag on a few of the videos onto it so you can get a lot more
Okay.
detail. All right. So marigold is what it's typically referred to. So if you hear marigold or calendula, it's the same plant that they're referring to. Again, many ways to utilize this. You can take some of the petals and put into the candle, like MJ mentioned earlier, dress your candle with it. It is a powerful anti-inflammatory. Again, it is loaded with antioxidants to fight also to fight stress, anxiety, that type of stuff. It does promote wound healing, which is the main reason why I incorporated it into my skin routine, because back in the day when I was first diagnosed, I had the lupus rash on my face, and it really did help to heal that as well as take away the scarring that I was experiencing at the time. So it's a very, very powerful herb for your skin. And again, towards this time of the year, kids are outside, they're getting bitten by mosquitoes. Have some calendula oil on hand. Find wherever the bites are, rub some of that on, the itch goes away, and it promotes the healing. So you'll see the connection between all of these herbs and the summertime, or this, summer solstice specifically, because these are all considered to be summer solstice herbs. If you look up
That's right.
summer solstice herbs, you're going to find this list right there because they grow this time of the year and throughout the summer, specifically because of, what kids would tend to go through during the summertime. It is also considered to be an herb that combats cancer. And there's a lot of research out there that you can do a lot. Go onto Google and look up the research that's been done related to calendula and cancer studies. The main particular types of cancer are leukemia, melanoma. Imagine that. Where do people typically get develop melanoma from? Overexposure to the sun. I mean, other reasons too, but you can see the connection between these herbs and what they're typically used for, right? So melanoma is another one. Also, colon cancer and pancreatic cancer are other types of cancers that calendula has been researched and used for. Calendula is also antifungal, antimicrobial. You're seeing the pattern here. It does help to support oral health. So if you do have issues with any kind of problems in your mouth, like ginger. Now, this is not a substitute for going to the dentist. Go see your dentist every 6 months, but it does promote oral health. All you have to do is just boil some calendula petals and make a simple mouthwash. You can add in a couple of drops of peppermint in there, peppermint essential oil in there, shake it up really well, use that. You can also add a couple drops of clove essential oil in there, which has a numbing effect, or just use just a plain calendula. It's really, really good as a mouthwash on its own. And calendula also helps to regulate your menstrual cycle. So if you are, let's say, some ways that it's been used by women is to actually promote the start of the cycle. Let's say if they're trying to get it aligned with the moon, for example. You want to have your cycle start on the full moon. There are people who've worked with it in this way to actually have it start on that day, and then but you can, if you're trying to get it regular, say for example it's coming every 6 weeks rather than every month, and you want it to come every month, you can actually work with calendula in that way. Okay, just make sure that you're also working with your gynecologists and let them know what kind of herbs that you're taking or natural remedies. Okay, all right. It is, I mentioned about my utilizing it on my skin, but you can also make a simple facial toner as well. So the same tea that you use as a mouthwash, you can use it, put a little bit of it in a spray bottle inside of the refrigerator, get it nice and cool, and use it as a toner, spray it on yours, and it just tightens your pores. It does promote heart health. It is considering to be great for nursing moms because a lot of, especially young, when you're just starting out nursing, your breasts tend to get really irritated. So the calendula tea, a concentrated calendula tea, and just applied to the breast area will actually help with the healing and taking down the inflammation and help with pain, that sort of thing. And it's also really, really good for muscle fatigue. The calendula I mentioned earlier is one of the ingredients in the trauma oil, which is a blend of calendula, St. John's wort, and arnica. So they're very, very powerful anti-inflammatory. And that is calendula in a nutshell.
Awesome. So for me, calendula is the herbs I have here, and I had it down because we did use it before. So it is once again, it is that sun energy. It is a masculine energy, and it back in the day was used more for mouth and the mouth and for to bring down the smell and ailments in the mouth smell. Back in the day, there wasn't no toothpaste and toothbrush, so they would chop it and chew it, and it would help them. So that way, when they got into town, literally when the Westerners and when people would get to where they were going, they would chew on it, and it would help their breath, and they would have any ailments in the mouth. They would literally have that and use it to help with the mouth aches and to make sure that it was good. And for me, I laughed at that. That's why when you said it, I was laughing. I was like, Lord, did she know back in the day that they didn't have Listerine? They have that. So, and this is what I have for this one. All right. This is the stone that I would love to use for that, because look at how it's the multi layers of the stone, that, and it's the multi layers of this one herb, that it's not only for your mouth, it's not only for healing, it's not only, it's a combination, but it's only created in midsummer around solstice, like the sun. And this is what I want you to all get. Again, it's all about summer solstice herbs, midsummer healing.
Exactly. All right, so the next one, I know I wanted to mention, Shannon says she grows marigolds in her garden. That's one of the when in the garden, marigold is actually one of the best plants to grow, kind of a companion plant, because it does help to keep bugs away. So if you're growing different vegetables, or you always hear of companion planting. And I remember when I first heard about that, it was like, what's companion planting? And I did a lot of research into that when I was younger. And even the Indians and Native Americans, they have always grown this way. They grow the corn, and then they grow peas with it that need something for the peas to climb up on. And then they also may grow marigolds, because the marigolds help to keep the bugs away that would typically attack the corn when the corn is developing. So that's what they refer to as companion planting. And marigolds is one of the best plants to grow to keep pests away in your garden. Oh, Shannon is asking, what's the name of the stone that you held up? You didn't mention.
Oh, the agate. It's agate. It's just agate. It's an agate. It's yellow agate.
Yes, and Shannon did mention pest control. Yes. All right.
Yeah,
So the
and remember,
last
Marigolds is good for, and Marigolds are a beautiful flower for Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. That is the flower that you want to put out all over. So
that's true. It does grow pretty much for months.
into the season,
Yes.
and it stays bright,
It
and
does.
it actually looks like the sun in October. So I want you to keep in mind they look like the sun, beautiful oranges and yellows, and how they're used. So
yes, sure does. So the next ingredient is rosemary, and we have spoken quite extensively about rosemary in the crown chakra blend that we did actually 2 weeks ago. So we're going to tag that video onto this as well. But we know it's referred to as the herb of remembrance. It's loaded with antioxidants. It does help to lift your mood. It boosts your alertness. It's considered to be a cognitive stimulant. And again, you see the same kind of references when it comes to the sun, right? The sun boosts your spirit. So it's the same kind of qualities that we're looking for, that we see in the rosemary, as well as the other herbs that were mentioned. It does reduce stress. It reduces drowsiness. It is, if you're having issues with growing the hair, it is really good for growing your hair. It's a crown chakra herb, so it works up there. And it is one of the herbs I worked with when I was regrowing my hair many years ago, when I experienced alopecia. So it does help with indigestion. It is considered to be an antimicrobial again. And guess what? It's a natural bug repellent.
yeah.
And you see the connection between the summertime and the qualities of these herbs. That's why they're utilized this time of the year. That's why they grow this time of the year. So yeah, so it's a natural bug repellent. So if you're having, if you happen to not have that store-bought stuff, which I don't recommend you use anyway,
You should
just
make
get
your
some
own.
rosemary. Just make your own natural bug repellent. Rosemary is going to be your main ingredient in there. It also helps to promote metabolic health. It
One is going to
regulates
be one of your ingredients. Depends on the bugs, because if you're in Puerto Rico, water rosemary is not the main ingredient in the bug, because they will eat you and your rosemary alive. It is one of the ingredients in the bug spray. Rosemary is one, not all, because here
no.
you could put them
Mm,
everywhere. You could even plant them, and the mosquitoes will still attack you. So it's one of many ingredients. We have to say that, because people say use
mhm.
rosemary, and I've seen people put rosemary oil together, and I've literally sit back and say, watch this, because I'm that person.
Mhm.
Spiritual chancla time. And they're like, why am I still been eating? Because it's not just one, it's a mixture.
Right.
So
Yeah.
rosemary is just like in the herbs that we use, it is one of many ingredients that will work for that. Okay. So let's be,
Shannon says she's a human buffer, a human buffet. Oh yes,
oh,
the
she
bug spray that I
knows.
utilize is not it's not just rosemary, but it is it
Yes,
does have rosemary in there. Another
she
thing that you
knows.
can use for the bug spray is lemongrass. A lot of people don't, or fever grass, where where I come from.
Yeah,
So a
there are
lot of
many
people don't utilize
ingredients
that.
that you could use, but tea tree,
Mhm,
that tea tree is one of the main ingredients you use. With the tea tree, you use the rosemary, you use the lemongrass, you use
mhm.
the citronella. You blend that
Citronella
together,
as well.
oil all
Mhm.
together, and now you have the most
Yes.
powerful bug repellent there is, and you could take it
Mhm.
everywhere. But all those ingredients, not one, it's a blending of
It's a
all.
blend.
And now
Mhm.
imagine those ingredients, if you grow those plants around your home, what?
Yes.
So
Yes.
remember
Very
that
well.
too.
Shannon said that I was playing tic tac toe. Yes, I know that. I know the feeling. Again, when you're attacked by so many mosquitoes, you can literally play or connect the dots on your skin. So
Anna could tell you she met the Puerto Rican mosquitoes when she first moved here, and she was like, MJ, they were going to scare her away. They were like, you can't live here, yo. You're not Puerto Rican. Dale, get out.
Mm,
And I was like, wait, let's get them in check. Let me help you.
yeah. And I always joke around and say that the national or the state bird for Florida is the mosquito, because the mosquitoes here are so big. They are so big. I remember the first time I saw a Florida mosquito, I was like, what is that? And someone said it's a mosquito. I'm like, there's no way. Mosquitoes are not that big. Yeah, but it was. They're huge. All right. So why rosemary? Oh, I wanted to mention this. When I was growing up, right? I would go and see an aunt of mine, and she was always sweeping her yard with a rosemary broom. And it never occurred to me until a few years back. I'm like, why was she using a rosemary broom to sweep her yard? And I thought, did she not realize? I'm sure she did. She probably didn't say anything. But yeah, the older folks back home, I know a lot of them, they would make brooms from rosemary, and they use it to sweep the leaves out of their yard in the front yard. Because back home we have a lot of sand, right? And yeah, that just popped into my head this morning when I was thinking about that. It said rosemary brooms. We need to bring
But
that
that's
back.
but good luck. Not
Yes.
bring it back. It's already here. I'm sorry. I'm going
Right.
now. Let me bring you over to my spiritual side. They're called bisms. We make bisms, and
Mhm.
everyone should have. I don't. In my home, I have a bism. I will fix that. This is my office, so I don't have a bism here yet. But thank you for
Yeah.
reminding me. Everyone should have a bism with rosemary in the home. If you don't hang it up, you should have a broom full with rosemary, because rosemary is bringing blessings. Okay, now
Yeah.
you know that whole big thing with sage. Well, let's sage the house with some white sage, that white plant medicine, and that's all wonderful. But remember, white sage and any sage removes energy. Rosemary does the opposite. Rosemary brings in the blessings. So it's a balance. Gina talked about yin and yang. White sage and saging your house to take out the negativity is a yes. But behind that white sage should be rosemary, because rosemary
Mhm.
brings in blessings. So your family member knew exactly what she was doing. She was blessing her
She
home
did.
from branch to branch. And back in the day, that's what they would do. They would bless the acreage of their property with rosemary, because it's such a powerful blessing, and it brings in blessings. You want to burn it, you want to You want to burn it in your oil. You want to use the oils. Rosemary is very
Mhm.
powerful. So yeah, in the brooms, it's absolutely
Yeah.
something that goes in the brooms. I'm going to take a picture of mine and show you.
Okay. Yeah, because I do work with rosemary essential oil quite a bit, but it didn't. It is when I was thinking about this. I think I was thinking about the Midsummer Night's Dream and Hamlet, because in Hamlet
Okay.
it's referred to as being the herb of remembrance. And then I guess that kind of triggered something like, I remember when Aunt so and so used to sweep the yard with a rosemary broom. Huh. She knew
Nah.
something I didn't know about.
She, your little aunt was more magical, and she should sit right next to me right
Yes,
here. And
yes.
she and I would have great conversations of what she knew exactly what she was doing.
Mhm.
Rosemary is a powerful plant to
She
have
did.
in your arsenal, in your kitchen, in your tea, just anywhere
Exactly.
in your home, because it is blessings. It brings in blessings. So you want to burn it. You want to burn your sage to clear out the energy, but then you want to burn rosemary and bring in all the blessings, because that's what that plant is.
Yeah. I sense a whole different show appearing here.
Do, do,
All right.
do, do, do.
And things are turning. All right. So lots of different ways of working with this blend. Those are the four ingredients. Now there are lots
Okay.
of different ways that you can work with this blend, right? You can make bath salts with it. So you can get some Epsom salt, some Himalayan pink salt, um, and add this particular blend in there. You can also add it onto your candles, like MJ did. Like I said, I'm going to be dressing
And it
mine.
smells. I want you to. It smells so good, because remember, there is orange oil on these candles holding the
Yes.
herbs on there. So you're getting the same blends that you would drink, and it makes
Mhm.
the room smell so good.
It smells so good. And so here's another way that you can work with this. When you're making the tea, of course, you add water. However, if you really wanted to kick this up a notch, you could add something like bourbon. You could also add some brandy, and you
Oh,
add
party
in
time.
some honey, and you have now this amazing elixir that you can just maybe have like a shot glass at the evening, before you go to bed, whenever you want to utilize it. But that would be a really powerful, yeah, I'm going to call it an elixir, right? So there's so many different ways that you can
Tincture.
utilize this
Stay right
blend.
there with that, please, because I want you
Yes,
to know that is a tincture. So the fact that she told you to add alcohol to it, it becomes a tincture for
yes.
healing. So
Mhm.
make that potent blend, and you can heal people with it, with that little tincture and the alcohol. Very important,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. All right. So, I mentioned the bath salt. So Epsom salt, you can add in a little bit of lavender if you wanted to add that in. Put in some vitamin E. You can also add in the essential oil equivalent to these herbs as well. Pull that in, and just if you can't take a bath soak, you can use it as a foot soak. I think we mentioned that in a previous video that you can just get a container where you
The
can
last
add
episode.
hot water, add your bath salts to that, and place your feet in, and you absorb through your feet. So you're still getting the benefits of these herbs that way. And those are the four ingredients.
Yay! For summer
Now,
solstice, guys.
Now we wanted to give you a few alternatives. So just, if you don't have calendula, not everybody has some calendula lying around. Not everybody has it growing in their yard, although that would not be a bad thing. Very, very easy to grow too, isn't it, Shannon? Very, very easy plant to grow. So you can also utilize chamomile. Most people have chamomile tea in their pantry somewhere, right? So you could add in chamomile tea into this if you don't have the calendula. If you don't have St. John's wort, you can simply just leave it out. Most people have rosemary, right? So you can do rosemary, chamomile. You can add in some turmeric. And I wanted to mention turmeric, making some turmeric milk this evening. Turmeric milk is so easy to make. All you need is maybe half a teaspoon of the powdered turmeric, which I think most people would have, and you use your favorite milk, whether it's coconut milk, almond milk. regular dairy milk. I don't drink dairy, but the coconut, I use coconut milk or almond milk. And I even found a banana milk recently. I haven't tried it yet. I did buy some, but I will let you know how that tastes. But I'm guessing that banana milk with turmeric would be so good. So I'm going to try that blend this evening, and I'll let you know how that goes. But think about all of these yellow herbs, these yellow flowers. Now, I didn't mention sunflower, but you can certainly be eating sunflower seeds, and I'm sure that MJ has lots of magical tips around the sunflower seeds. What's the other one? Helichrysum. You can utilize some helichrysum oil, and the Helios sun, right? So that's where the sunflower also has that prefix of Helios. The helichrysum again, because they look like the sun had that bright, vivid yellow, right? So that's where it gets that connection to solar energy or solar power from. So, but if you don't have, like I said, the calendula chamomile, certainly a good alternative. Chamomile mixed with the orange peel. Now, I am guessing. I'm just going to guess here because chamomile does the total opposite for me. Doesn't really soothe me, put me to sleep, right? So putting chamomile with orange isn't necessarily going to kind of be counterintuitive. Orange peel is uplifting, and chamomile for me is uplifting. However, if chamomile for you is kind of is very soothing and calming, I would not put it with orange peel because it's kind of the opposite, right? Orange peel does this and chamomile does this. So if you're putting the two of them together, then it's going to kind of balance each other out, which if you're drinking the chamomile tea to soothe you at the end of the day, don't add orange peel to it because it's kind of doing the complete opposite of what you want with the orange
I
peel.
would just
Hope
stick to
that
the original recipe that we have right here, and the other things I feel like they're for other episodes because let's
yeah,
not confuse them with the amazingness that we just gave them, because that is enough for the solstice to get you to start thinking yellow, think
right.
midsummer, think herbs that are picked within the summer. And for me, I just
Mm-hmm.
want to say this overall solstice for me, if I was to pick a crystal that would really totally be solstice for me, here it is, baby. It is bumblebee jasper. Because look at it. We are coming out of the darkness
Where is it?
of the winter months
Right here.
into, see, out of the darkness. See, this is winter solstice, coming out of the winter solstice and turning the dial into the summer. We are into the summer months. So I want you to
Yes.
see, this is literally what we're doing. We're coming out of the soul, out of the darkness into the yellow, the sun, and we're beaming our light. So bumblebee jasper
Okay.
is my stone
Mhm.
of this
So let
week
me
for
show
this
you.
beautiful crystal that we have, guys. All right. So
And let me
enjoy,
show you.
go outside. We're not supposed to be inside, but go outside, guys. Go outside. It is the longest day. Light some candles, do some magic, connect with the light. Tonight, light candles in your home. Take a bath, light candles, bring in the sun. It is the longest night. You want to call in the sun. You are the magic. How do you call in the sun? Right here. There you
Mhm.
go. So light up your life, light up your home tonight, and welcome in the sun, because it is summer solstice and it's all
And
about
just so
being
you're not
outside.
confused, it is the longest day, not the longest night. I think we
Yeah,
just
we already
confused it.
had the
Yeah,
longest night. Yeah,
yeah.
the longest
This is
night
the
was last
longest
night.
day
Now
of
it's
the
the
year.
longest
So
day, the longest day of the year. But what I meant to say is that now night is shorter. We have the short is the long days. We have the long, beautiful days. We get to enjoy it into the night. This is where the kids get to stay out playing outside till 9 p.m. Unplug those
yeah.
computer screens and put them outside to enjoy.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So there you have lots of ways of enjoying summer solstice. So please do make yourself some tea, burn some candles, get outside and run through some sprinklers. So, have
Have
fun.
fun.
Have fun. Yes.
Have fun,
So,
because there's
and
magic in this. This is magic in itself. There's magic in the cup, there's magic in the sun, there's magic out there. Go out and find it, guys, because you are
And that
magic.
and that is it for our. Oh, let me bring the. I did have some sunflowers here. Wanted to share with you.
See, there you
Yes.
go, yellow. So
Yes.
enjoy the yellow, add some yellow to your life, and go outside and enjoy the sun, guys. You take care, many blessings, and we'll
And
see you
thank you
soon.
for stopping by. Enjoy your summer solstice. Thank you, MJ.
Thank you,
Bye,
Gina. Take care,
everyone.
guys. Bye bye.